Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, The Real Rant Reviewer. Thank you for joining me for another rant review, an awesome rant review. Yes, I love doing them. It is Prisoners. Yes, we're doing Prisoners. I believe it was, what year was this one? 2013, guys. Yeah, I believe I rented it on Redbox back in 2000. Spoilers ahead, of course. I give my freestyle, my thoughts on the movie, then we go to the plot. But yeah, I rented this on Redbox back in 2013, late 2013, early 2014. And man, just the performance of Hugh Jackman in this, the intensity that he keeps throughout this whole film is crazy, man. It reminds me of a performance that I reviewed, I rant reviewed here of a movie of someone doing, oh, Denzel Washington from John Q. Same kind of performance here, guys. He's got to keep his intensity the whole time, and he does. Hugh Jackman, incredible. Believe him as a grieving, as a hysterical father, willing to do anything to find his daughter and get her back. Um, so yeah, and Gyllenhaal, of course, I love Jake Gyllenhaal. They don't give him enough to do, guys. I want him to do more, but he's great. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm biased towards him. I really love Jake Gyllenhaal. So he's great in this film. And Paul Dano, he's all right. You know, I'm not a big fan of his, but he's all right. He plays a weak kid good, but the story's great, the plot's great, acting's great, the atmosphere's great, cinematography's great. Excuse me. All around, great movie. Deserves all the praise that it gets, as you can see by this scene here. So that's my thoughts on the movie. Terrence Howard there was pretty I guess convincing as a weak, like, not wanting to do it and shit. What the fuck? If it's his daughter, he would win it. You know what I mean? Come on. But we're not gonna discuss the morals of this movie. That's for comments, you know, for everybody morally, whatever. We're just gonna cinematics here, guys. So just straight cinematics. Um, so let's get into the plot. Let's wrap this shit up. So you basically begin the movie here. You meet Mr. Jackman here. I'm not gonna go by names. So do the best I can. You got Hugh Jackman, and he has a family. They're doing something at his house. The daughter goes down the street. She ends up missing, guys. They can't find her. They call the police. The police can't really do much, right? Can't find her with anything. I don't know. Then they can't really do much with her. Anyways, Hugh Jackman's so upset because the police can't do shit. His wife is really sick over this, man. Of course, any family parents would be. But what happens is, as the movie progresses, little by little here, Mr. Jake Gyllenhaal, the head detective, doesn't have much evidence to go on, guys, and so they're really slow in progress. But Hugh Jackman here thinks that he can be faster. Now, they said they saw a kind of Winnebago van in the area at the time that his little girl went missing. Mr. Jackman takes it upon himself to find this van. He does. He sees a young boy, you know, in his teens, driving the van. So he stalks him to his house, finds out where he lives. As it goes on, the police don't find, don't do nothing. He's sick of it. He finds this young man here, Mr. Paul Dano, walking his dog one night, and kidnaps him. Yes, kidnaps him, takes him to an abandoned house, one of his old, Mr. Jackman's old house that he owns. It's abandoned now. Takes him, builds a kind of prison in the bathroom, in the bathtub, guys. Cool shit. And so he wants to get information from this. He knows he had something to do with it. He wants to get information. If he didn't have something to do with it, he wants to know who had something to do with it. He wants information. He needs to find his daughter because the police aren't doing it enough. And so he keeps him there for a while, and he does things to him. And then he calls in the friend because, excuse me, two girls went missing. So the other father, he calls in the other father and says, "Listen, your daughter's missing too. Let's do this shit, right? We got to do it." And he's reluctant to do this, but he does it. Mr. Jackman convinces the other father, "Your daughter's missing. He'll tell us where they are. He knows." They do this for a period of days, but still no information from this young man. He's not really all there, the young man. They don't know how to deal with it. They're getting madder and madder, Mr. Jackman is. But what happens is they find the other girl of the father's other girl, the guy, and so he wants to step out of this now because his girl's found, but she doesn't have any information on his daughter, Mr. Jackman's. So, but he still needs help, Mr. Jackman, in doing this. You know what I mean? But eventually he steps away, the other father, because he's found his daughter. It's a fucked up move. So Mr. Jackman is left alone to continue the abuse and the interrogation tactics, physical torture of Mr. Dano to find information about his missing daughter. Because the cops still haven't found anything. But then you see that Mr. Gyllenhaal is on to something. He's on to something, and then he's not. Then it, bam. But then finally, Mr. Gyllenhaal And throughout the movie, he's checking up on Mr. Jackman, making sure he ain't doing nothing fucking crazy because he heard Mr. Dano went missing. So, whatever. That's another thing he's got to worry about. But eventually, Gyllenhaal spots something. Like what does he do, guys? He spots something. Figures something out. Anyways, he figures something out and goes for it. So he goes to a house or whatever, and it leads to, I think, another dead end or what have you. But anyways, let's skip the Gyllenhaal thing for now, because basically Gyllenhaal will get involved and find out. But who finds out first, of course, is Mr. Jackman. He finds out where the daughter might be, but he doesn't really know for sure. He's led to a house, Mr. Dano's mother's house, supposedly his mother's house. He wants to get there. That's right. He wants to get there. He's led there, but he's led there not knowing that this nice old lady has poisoned or drugged his coffee. See, so he's passed out. She has something to do with this kidnapping because she kidnapped his little girl and the girls. She kidnapped them, and she also kidnapped Mr. Dano as a child, and now he's grown up, so he's a kidnapped child as well. He's been abused this whole fucking time. He was an abused child himself. He's a kidnapped child himself here. So Mr. Jackman's passed out. She puts him in this hole, in this deep dark hole, whatever. And there's a lot more to the movie, guys. I'm missing. It's really detailed and intriguing. It's good. So I'm sorry if I'm skipping over some really great parts, which I am in details. But basically he's thrown in there, and then Mr. Gyllenhaal here, what happens is his daughter is found, right? How's his fucking daughter found? I'm sorry, guys. Okay, yeah, so Alex was abducted, blah, blah, blah. Um, the daughter gets away, basically. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm reading the Wikipedia. That's so bad of me, but yeah, she gets away, guys. But he's stuck down in the hole, and he's covered up with a car over top of him. So he's able to rescue his daughter, though, get her out, but or something like that, because she wasn't in the hole where he was. She was in the house or whatever. She's rescued by the cops. She's rescued by people, right? But they don't hear Mr. Gyllenhaal. I mean, Mr. Gyllenhaal rescues them and all that shit. They find out, they come, they save, but Mr. Jackman's stuck in the hole underneath the car. But after everybody clears out, this is the end of the movie now. The daughter's fine, everybody's saved, the lady's dead or arrested, what have you. They find out Mr. Dano's the kidnapped kid. He's going to be released and all that shit. But they didn't find Mr. Jackman. He's still missing. So it's bothering Mr. Gyllenhaal. So at the end, right here, where everybody clears out of the house after they've taken care of everything, all the cops leave, and it's just Mr. Gyllenhaal, and he has a feeling, these instinct feelings, and he just sits around, and all you hear really lightly is a whistle, because there was a whistle down there in that hole with Mr. Jackman, and I think his daughter's whistle, and you hear the whistle ever so slightly, and then the movie cuts. But you kind of see Gyllenhaal look like he knows where it's coming from, but he hears it. So you have the hope that Mr. Jackman would be found, but then again, you don't. So I love that about that part of the movie. It made me angry in a good way. Kept me like, damn, man, I hope this shit is found, because you root for Jackman the whole time, even though he's doing wrong. I don't know. I mean, he did wrong. This kid right here was kidnapped by the woman, so he was a victim himself, and he got tortured for nothing. He didn't have no answers. He couldn't tell him anything because he had trouble speaking himself. She did not raise him correctly. He was kidnapped as a young child. So that's it. Now that's the end of the movie there, guys. Curtain closed. And the movie won a lot of Oscars, a lot of awards, like it should. But the music is good as well. I can't remember exactly the music. I'm sorry about my videos. I always skip over the music. It's hard to remember everything, just going off one random thought. I try my best. I apologize, but the music is good as well. There's a couple music scenes in here as well. And the wife, too. She's really grieving. You really feel her grief, and so does Jackman. So that pushes Jackman more to do what he does to this man, Dano, to get answers. So be a hard watch, guys, because it's hard emotionally to watch. It's not physically hard to watch. It's emotionally hard to watch. In the middle, so it's in the beginning and in the middle for sure, and the end, yeah, overall. So yeah, great movie, Prisoners, guys. Check it out. I recommend it. Thanks for listening. It's awesome. The real Rant reviewer, Rant.